I forgot my coffee, and when I first sat out here, it's in a good position, and now it's not. Okay, let's try this. No, it's not better. Just recline on this bench. No. Everything. Good gracious. Well, it's just such a nice day. It's never a nice day in Texas. I'm just gonna sit like this, so it's mostly not. The sun is mostly not on my face. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to What Am I Reading Wednesday. And today I actually do have a new book that I did actually start reading. Haven't finished the other ones yet. That's this is a dying stream. But the book that I am currently reading is a book called Harrow the Ninth by Tasmin Muir. She is from New Zealand, and it is a sequel to a book that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but haven't because I was waiting for that to come out. It came out in first week of August, so not last week, the week before. Come on. There we go. Light balance. It's key. No, that's not going to do anything. Got nothing. Whatever. I'm unsalvageable. I suppose I could sit. I'm gonna go sit on my. That was super bright. There was probably a really good picture of me in there though, like very artsy. Okay. I tell you, hello, my little lady. Little lady, come here. Don't run away from the camera. She's just so cute. They have found an animal that lives under our house. So that's fun. That's super fun. Anyway, this is a book that I've been wanting to talk about because it was my favorite book of last year. I think. It's probably not true. But anyway, I also have a really funny story about how I found it. It was there's no good way to sit on this. And nope. Okay. There we go. Now I look like whatever. I don't know what I look like. Good morning. Welcome. Forgot my coffee. This is rough. So this book is the first book in the series, Gideon Ninth. Spooky. Very spooky looking. Really up close shot of her. She's wearing aviator sunglasses. And let's see. So picture this. It's October on the Eastern Seaboard. I'm staying with my aunt who lives in Rhode Island, with my mom who met me there, and we are touring various quaint New England towns that we've been to before, but it's just always fun to go, including one called Mystic, the town called Mystic. You may have seen me wearing a t-shirt called Mystic Pizza because there's a really fun movie. It's not funny, it's a fun movie called Mystic Pizza, set in Mystic at a pizza place that does exist. Doesn't look anything like it did in the movie, in case you were curious, but they do sell t-shirts like they do in the movie, so that's cool. What was I'm looking up the name of the book. A bookstore. So we were in Mystic, and honestly, so we were in Mystic, and there was a is that it? Oh, that might be it. Yeah, I think that's it. Bank Square Books is the one. I'm trying to see if I can see pictures of it. Oh, that scared me. Juno, why? You okay? Can we be done? Can we be done with that part? The barking thing? Yeah, this is it. Bank Square Books. Yeah. Hey. No. Oh, Fifi. Oh, Vivi. Oh, Vivi. Oh, no. Oh, no. The stream is quickly taken over by the dogs. There's a squirrel is the problem. Okay. Bank Square Books in Mystic, Connecticut. Juno. Hey. Oh, here comes Finn. Finn sees that I'm upset. Hello. Hello, Finn. Hello, Finn. Better go get her, Finn. Better go get her. Better go get her, Finn. Uh-oh. Hey. Juno? Juno. Juno. Nothing. Juno. Nothing is worth it. Juno. Finn. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. The white balance isn't resetting. Finn has ruined it. Come back to me. Come back to me. Okay. Juno, stop it. Hey, come on. Let's go inside. Okay. Fixed it. Now they're just going to bark at me from in there, but it's going to be muffled. It's going to wake my husband, but that's fine. He needs to wake up and go to work. So, that's my declaration. So I'm in Mystic, the Bank Square. The reason we stopped there is also a funny story. In Mystic, there is one of those bridges. I forget what they're called, but they go up and down for boats. And sometimes they're up, and when they're up, there's just a big, long parking lot of cars on the road. And we were in that position. So we were stuck in this line of cars waiting for the bridge to go up or down. And I wanted to get a Mystic t-shirt, Mystic Pizza t-shirt. And I was looking for the sequel to a book that I've talked about before on here called, what was the Darker Shade of Magic is the first one. So I had finished the Darker Shade of Magic book and I wanted, not on the airplane, but I'd finished it on, during that trip. So I wanted to get the second book for the remainder of the trip and the airplane ride home. And so we went to Bank Square. So my aunt was like, well, I'll wait in this traffic and I'll move the car until we can find a parking spot. Why don't you just go do those things? So I got out of the car and I went to Mystic Pizza and I bought a t-shirt and then I went to the bookstore, Bank Square Books. And I went in there, I went looking for a Darker Shade of Magic, the sequel, which was A Gathering of Shadows. Look at me pulling these names out. And couldn't find it. Went up to the person at the counter and was like, hey, this is the book I'm looking for. Do you have any idea if you have it in the back or anything? She's like, oh, we're getting a shipment of it on Wednesday. I love that series. If you can hang around or come back on Wednesday, I can hold one for you. And I was like, well, I'm actually leaving out of town. I don't live here, so I'm leaving. So thanks, but no thanks. Took a little, gander around just because it's a bookstore and what you're going to do. And then my mom and aunt showed up. And so having parked the car, so we were going to a bakery or something. And so I was about to leave with them. And this person ran up to me, the person from the counter. She ran up to me carrying this specific book and was like, before you go, you don't have to do this, but I want to give you this book, or I want to encourage you to buy this book instead, because if you liked that book, I think you'd like this book, because this is the author of the Ishwab is the author of the Darker Shade of Magic series, and so the author likes this book, and there's similarly funky world building books. Anyway, I don't know exactly what she said to me, but one of the sentences that I'm almost positive she said was, "You look like you would like this book," which when you look at this book, it just gave me this great sense of sort of yes, what am I putting out in the world? That this is the book that someone thinks I want. Especially because this little blurb here at the bottom says, lesbian necromancers explore a haunted Gothic palace in space. Skeletons. So yeah, I don't know what exactly the vibe I was giving off that day, but keep it coming because this was one of my favorite books of the year. So after that long protracted story, I can now explain to you sort of the situation of this book. There are 9 houses. There's a little poemy thing. 2 is for discipline, heedless of trial. 3 for the gleam of a jewel or a smile. 4 for fidelity, facing ahead. 5 for tradition and debts to the dead. 6 for the truth over solace and lies. 7 for beauty that blossoms and dies. 8 for salvation, no matter the cost. 9 for the tomb and for all that was lost. This is a poem. So these are spacefaring people. They are humans, or at least maybe. I mean, I don't think they ever like talk about them being humans or not humans, but they're not presented as like these alien creatures. And they they live in what I believe is a solar system with 9 planets. And so the 9th planet obviously is the farthest from the whatever the star is in that system. I'm not sure that that's exactly, I can't remember if that's how it shakes out. But anyway, each planet is a house. They're a house. The first house, second house. Well, actually, the first house I think is really just like that's where the emperor lives. But the second house, third house, etc. And Gideon the 9th is Gideon from the 9th house. And the 9th house is a dying house. Well, it doesn't help that the entirety of this like race of people are necromancers. Like they are all necromancers, and they all practice different kinds of necromancy, animation of the dead, sort of preservation of life at the point of death. Well, not life, but preservation of the body at the point of death. Sort of conjuring skeletons. I don't know all the bits and bobs of necromancy. Shocking, but the 9th house is a dying house because the king and queen of the 9th house, I think that's who they are, or the lord and lady, whatever. They were, I guess they were unable to have kids for some reason. There's some magical reason they were unable to have kids. And so they did necromancy, and they basically sapped all the life out of all the children on the planet and put it into the life of this unborn baby that the queen was pregnant with, hoping that she would survive and give birth. And she did. And her daughter became the heir apparent. But all the children were dead, except for one, Gideon. So Gideon and the heir apparent are the same age-ish, close. Gideon's a little bit older. And they are the only children of that generation. And since then, I don't know that very many children have been born on the planet. And nobody knows why Gideon survived the whole soul sucking experience. So everyone's really scared of her. Well, everyone who knew that happened was really scared of her. Anyway, there is an emperor, and he usually has like a small army of what are called like doors. And I forgot what like door means exactly, but it's basically like super necromancers. They're like super powerful, just like wildly powerful. And it's no secret that his sort of small army of necromancers is dying out. They usually get killed in like battles. And so like they don't just like die, but I mean you would expect necromancers to find some way around that. But they do die in battles. And so there's only like they don't know how many are left, but 1 or 2 maybe. And so the emperor, at least I think that's how it goes. It's been a while. But the emperor sends out a message to all of the houses and says, hey, send your best necromancer, preferably the heir of your house. Because if the heir of your house is not the best necromancer, what have you been doing? And their sort of their second, their cavalier. Cavalier is the person assigned, sort of the physical guard of the necromancer. They are good with a rapier. They're like trained to do sword play with a rapier and to protect the necromancer. So and in the air. So they're sort of like a guard, like a personal bodyguard. And so Gideon was a warrior. She fought with the ninth in some war, unknown to me off the top of my head what that war was. And so she doesn't know how to use a rapier. She uses like a broadsword or something. But they think like, okay, well, let's get her off this planet. We don't want her here anymore anyway because she's weird and I don't know how she's arrived. And if she dies, she dies. Oh well. Like nobody really likes her. So she is quickly trained how to use a rapier and then just sort of sent along on her path to help Harrow. Harrow, who is the heir of the ninth house and the necromancer. Turns out Harrow has just been, well, I don't know that I want to give that away. I don't know that's a huge deal. I won't give it away. Anyway, so Harrow and Gideon go to this Gothic palace in space. They go to the Emperor's mansion or palace on the first world, and they meet all of the heirs of the other houses there. And it becomes a competition, sort of like a scavenger hunt, like a really elaborate scavenger hunt, to see who can become Lyctor first, or who can just become Lyctor, I think, and then whoever becomes Lyctor gets to serve with the Emperor. And it's a series of like keys and doors, and then finding the next key using something you learned from the last room. And Cavaliers and Necromancers at first were like separate because Necromancers were like trying to solve the puzzles and the Cavaliers couldn't really help. But then people start to die. Some of the Necromancers just like up and die. In very, like, for Necromancers, specific ways, like they're being killed by a specific kind of necromancy. And so that like puts everybody on edge. Obviously, it's very like Agatha Christie trying to figure out who's killing these people and why, and is it one of them? And that it becomes a race to become Lyctor before someone tries to kill you. And then the Cavaliers stick with their necromancers because got to protect them just in case. And yeah, so the entire book, basically, most of the book after that point is I have a bug bite on my foot. Most of the book after that point is the story of Gideon. It's all told from Gideon's perspective. Story of Gideon following Harrow around and helping her solve these puzzles, not having any idea what's going on, and helping Harrow try to guess who's killing everybody. And Harrow and Gideon have been together since they were tiny little babies because they were the only kids that existed. But they really don't like each other, and so they have this like they forge this bond over the course of the time because they start to really worry about whether they're going to survive and whether they're going to survive, whether the other one is going to survive, and whether if the other one doesn't survive, what will happen to them, that sort of thing. So they form this bond over a period of time, and then it comes to a head. They sort of start to solve the problem of who's killing who and why. And it's great fun. It's a very silly book. One of the things that I remember about this book, and one of the things again, but the sun is out of the way of that table. I can sit at the table again, which means I can probably let the dogs out. Okay. Hello, Juno. The white balance never really got. Oh, there it is. Hello, Finfin. What are you doing? You're taking over my stream. You took my stream, Finfin. You took my stream, Finfin. Okay. This whistling. This happens a lot. And they also have a very weird whistle. It sounds like they're humming and whistling at the same time. Anyway. So what was I saying? So towards the end, they have to solve this mystery. Anyway, it's a very satisfying book. Oh, one of the things that I remember from the book that was super funny was, so all of these people that come to the Emperor's Palace vary in age and ability and stuff. There's one house that has a pair of heirs because they are twins, and so one is the Cavalier and one is the Necromancer, and they are teenagers. And wait, is that right? Or are they both Necromancers? They might both be Necromancers, and then they have a couple of Cavaliers, like literally a man and a woman who are married who are their Cavaliers. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but there's this bit where there's this bit that Gideon does. So yeah, one of their Cavaliers is named Magnus, and whenever Magnus talks, the teens get very uncomfortable. And so Magnus is talking to Gideon, I think. He says, and he's talking about one of the necromancers. I've known her since she was a child. She knows I'm absolutely no good. You should have seen her when she was 5. And then in this tiny font right here, it says what I imagine is said in this voice. Magnus, don't talk about me being 5. Now let me tell you the story. Magnus, do not tell anyone this story. And they just sound like petulant teenagers, and they're written like petulant teenagers. And then I don't know if I can actually pick it up because that one I knew. Oh yeah, here it is. So, no, Magnus, don't mention me, said that dreadful teen. Gideon just refers to the teenagers, those two necromancers, as the dreadful teens, or the terrible teens, or the awful teens. She just like always. I don't think she ever. That's why I can't remember their names, because they constantly are talking about. Or she's constantly just calling them the teens and doesn't refer to them by their names. It's just funny. It's just a little funny thing that happens. And of course, eventually, they're either implicated in the murder plot or they die. I honestly don't remember. So like, it stops being funny after a while, but it started being funny. And I think that's what makes it really interesting. It's very character driven for being such a world building, obviously sort of magic forward book. It is very character driven. Anyway, the second book in the series came out August 4th, August 3rd, 4th. It would have been a Tuesday, I think. I pre-ordered it a while ago. And so this is Harrow the Ninth. You can tell she has this. So the Ninth house has this they have they're the watchers of the tomb, I forget what the tomb is, but it's a very specific thing for this like people. They entombed like some big enemy, and the ninth are sort of like the north in Game of Thrones. Like north were always saying when winter is coming. The ninth are always saying like um the tomb must stay closed, that sort of thing. Or everybody else does that? I don't know. But everybody has this like little prayer. And part of their ritual is they paint their faces like skulls. So you can see Harrow's is very like intricate. Well, maybe you can't see because this camera is there. It is. And Harrow's is very like intricate and careful and looks like a skull. And then Gideon's is very Punisher-esque, and um, she's wearing aviator sunglasses. So she's a little bit not into this whole ninth house thing. And then you can also see this is Gideon's book, and this is Harrow's book. So I don't know. It's just all the little details, and then the characters are really compelling. Squirrel. Dogs are gonna bark. But the characters are really compelling, and the book is really fun and a wild romp. And yeah, I would not have probably found it if it hadn't been for that wonderful woman in the bookstore at Bank Square Books, who pointed me to it, encouraged me to buy it, and I'm really glad I did. And there's going to be a third book that has been announced, which is fun. But it's not coming out. I don't know if it has a release date. This one at least had a release date. By the time I finished Gideon, I knew when Harrow was going to come out, so I wasn't like super waiting. They did have to push it back because of the pandemic, but only by a couple months. And I don't think this one has this next one, the third one, has a release date on it yet, which is a bummer. But also sort of unsurprising. It's probably going to be next year, and who knows what even exists next year. I don't know. But anyway, that is all I brought for today for What Am I Reading Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thank You Note Thursday. And I did get a couple of responses today. Good. There are 7 responses, but I need more responses. It's very important. These are people you may notice if you've done any of these before. You may notice that the people on this list are people who have been on the list before, but lost, and I believe they lost primarily because there was some like heavy hitter on the list with them, and so I wanted to give them a second chance. And they, spoiler alert, they may get a third chance. In part because I didn't really think about new people to add, and when I tried to come up with like new people to just add off the top of my head, I usually come up with stupid things. So I wanted to come up with better ones. So I wanted to give myself a week. So by tomorrow, I will have new people for next week. But until tomorrow, please vote on the poll for the Thank You Note Thursday tomorrow so that I can... Dogs are going crazy. So that I can thank one of these wonderful people. I'm going to go before we just bark the whole house down. I don't even know if you can hear me anymore. There's a plane going overhead. But it's such a nice day. You don't understand. This doesn't happen in Texas in August. It is like 70 degrees. It is amazing. It is definitely going to be 92 later today, which honestly doesn't sound too bad after the week that we've had. So I'm okay with it. But it's been a joy and a dream streaming for you all. If you enjoy my streams, you should check out my Twitch. My Twitch is, you can look it up. I'll type it in the chat here. Because it is spelled weird, which is, I shouldn't have done that, You can't just say it. Demonic Thunderjaw is my Twitch name. Right now I'm playing through Elder Scrolls Arena, which is a game from 1994. And I'm aiming to play through all the Elder Scrolls games with some, I don't know about all, but I'm definitely going to go through like the main, what would it be, main five, which are Arena, Daggerfell, Morrowind or Oblivion, and then Morrowind or Oblivion, the other one, and then Skyrim. I'm going to play through all of them on my Twitch channel. It's going to be a long ride. Hopefully I don't get bored. But so far, even though this game was made in 1994, not boring. Anyway, that's my pitch for my Twitch. And I will see. Nope, I always do that. I will not see you. You may see me if you tune in tomorrow here at my channel. Make good choices. I have to go get coffee now. That's my good choice. Because I need coffee real bad. Oh, I hit not yet. That's not what I wanted to do. I do want to end the stream. Goodbye, stream. I love you.